Hello, I'm Claudio Vargas Silva, and I am the writer of Master Yourself 10 Steps to Loving Yourself, Having Good Relationships, and Being Successful. And this is the introduction of my book, and you can find this book at Amazon.com, and also you can find in my website www.claudiovargas.net, and you can also look for it in the bookstores everywhere. And I want to explain you why so many people have benefited from reading this book and how they have changed their lives. And I receive every day different letters from people who tell me how it was helpful to them. And I want to now tell you why I wrote this book. And it has something to do with my childhood. And when I was 2 months old, my mother had a mental problem. She had to go to the hospital, and she stayed there until I was 5 years old. And during that time, my father couldn't be with me. He had to work, and he looked for a family who could take care of me. And he remembered about his nephew, Horaci Stucci, who was also one of his best friends. And he was married to Jandira Stucci. And they accepted to be with me. And they were so nice to me, like if they were my real parents. And I didn't know my mother because she was taken from me when I was only 2 months old. And so for me, my mother was Jandira. And when I was 5 years old, my real mother came from the hospital, and then I left that family that I loved so much, and I went back to live with my father and my mother. That was a very hard time in my life because my relationship with my mother was really difficult. And I had a lot of hatred inside of my heart. I didn't accept myself. I didn't love myself the way I was. And I had a dream of leaving home. And I already, when I was 10 years old, I thought about committing suicide. And I thought that I would be happy when I would leave home, when I would leave my parents. But I left them when I was 14 years old to go to school. But I took with me all my unhappiness. So I didn't accept myself. I didn't love myself. I couldn't sleep well, so I had psychosomatic problems. I had a circulation problem in all my body. And then I went to the doctor. The doctor prescribed an electroencephalographic exam. And that showed that I had arrhythmia. And then I started taking medicines for arrhythmia. And that was bad for me because then my self-esteem that was really low was still worse because now I had a proven exam that I had a problem, that I was different than people in some way. And later on I went to study theology, and these problems, these psychosomatic problems, continued to the point that I had to stop studying theology. And I went back to home to treat my health because I thought that the problem was my health. And I stayed in my home like about 1 year and a half, and I didn't get better. And then my father told me, I think it would be good if you would go to a psychiatrist. But I had been to psychiatrists before, psychologists, and it didn't help me. And I told him, I don't believe in psychiatrists and psychologists anymore. But he told me, I know someone and his name is Dr. Cesar Vasconcelos de Souza, and he can help you, I think. So I decided to give a try, and I went to his office, and I don't remember very well what we talked the first time, but at the end of the second time, he told me that he would give me my diagnostic. And he told me like this: Claudio, you are a very smart person, very intelligent, you don't have any problem. You are wasting your time. And I want to give you an order, because I'm a physician, that you don't take these medications for arrhythmia anymore, because you don't need them. And also he told me, because I took medications to sleep, because I didn't sleep well, I also took vitamins, and he told me, you don't need these anymore, because you are a normal person, a very talented person. So you are wasting your time, you need to go back to study, and you need to work, because you have a bright future ahead of you. And that was really powerful to me. And it's interesting that where we have a problem, we also find a solution to this problem. Because you see, my problems stem from my childhood, because of my relationship with my parents. But on the other hand, my father was a hard worker. He had self-discipline, and he passed that to me. So from the same place where I got my emotional problems, I also got the solution for them. And some people, they think that they can't have a good future, they can't be happy, they can't overcome their problems because they had a bad childhood and it was very bad in their past. But I tell you that nothing can hold you back if you pay the price. And this is what happened to me. I paid the price to be a happy person, to overcome my problems, to overcome my lack of self-esteem. And when I was going to Dr. Souza, he told me that it would be very helpful if I would read some book. So he told me some books that he believed would be good for me. I started reading those books, and not only reading, but meditating every day. And then I started discovering things that were changing me. And every day I felt like I was stronger, I was happier, I had more self-esteem. And I had so many ideas that even 4 months later I stopped reading. And that was a problem, because although I discovered many things through my meditations, it's very good when we can tap into people's mind. People always have things to teach us, to show us, that can improve us, that can help us to grow